Make the most of your tiled experience by asking others to join you. Adding users is a pretty simple process. With that said, it is important to consider how you want your users to interact with tiled and the resulting micro app. In this video, we're going to learn the 3 default permission sets: admin, editor, and base user, how to create groups and subgroups, how to create new users both individually and via CSV upload, what happens when we delete a user, and how to customize the new user welcome email. Users break down into 3 basic groups: admin, editor, and base user. Simply put, admins have control over all the things. Editors have control over building and making changes to micro apps, and base users are able to view and share micro apps that are made available to them by editors and admins. We're going to get into this in more detail, but that's the gist. This also means that if you're an editor or a base user, this video probably doesn't directly apply to you. Feel free to hop on over to the next course. Before we jump into adding users, let's talk about groups. Groups allow you to easily manage which users have access to which micro apps. Typically, these groups are dictated by department: sales, marketing, HR, etc. However, feel free to make groups that work for your company's needs. It's important to keep in mind that users can only belong to one group. You can have subgroups as well. Maybe you want to have sales as your overarching group, and then you have sales AE, sales AM, and sales leadership within that sales group. We recommend creating subgroups only one level down for each parent group. Let's build out exactly that. First, we need to click our profile icon in the top right corner. Then, click User Management. To add our groups, we will click the plus button in the top right corner of our screen, then click New Group. For our first step, let's enter Sales as the name, and click Create New Group. Perfect. Now, we're going to click the plus button again, and New Group again. This time, we will enter Sales-AE. Then, check this Nest button, choose Sales from the drop-down, and click Create New Group. Repeat this process for any and all groups and subgroups that you'd like to create. Here's where we ended up for Sojourney. Time to add users. First, we're going to add our admin users. These are typically people that are responsible for providing the content that's used in the micro apps, people leaders who need to monitor analytics for their users, and anyone who needs to be able to add and remove users. In contrast, our editors are normally responsible for creating the layout and design, as well as the build of the micro app, publishing the micro app to the appropriate groups, making any revisions or updates to the micro app as required. And our base users use Tiled to view and share micro apps, track engagement of micro apps that they've sent to recipients, and customize micro apps using dynamic instances. For our use case, we're going to make all of our designers admins. Since we only have 2, that's pretty simple. It's the same concept as creating a group. We click the plus button in the top right corner, though this time we click New User. We'll enter their name and their email address, then choose Admin from the Roles dropdown. We're going to skip over custom roles for now, and then choose the group we want to add the user to. Once we click Create User, as long as we have this little box checked, an email will be sent out to your user asking them to sign in and set a password. What happens if we don't check that little box? Then no welcome email is sent, and your user won't be able to gain access to Tiled. You'll need to manually send their welcome email by clicking this try-dot menu and clicking Resend Welcome. Since we're already looking at this try-dot menu, let's quickly go over our other options here: Edit, Delete, and Reset Password. These do exactly what they say they do. The addition of new users follows the same process no matter what role they have. However, if you already have a list of all the users and their appropriate roles, you can upload a CSV file. Click the plus button again, and this time click Import Multiple Users at Once. Since we don't already have a CSV for our users, we're going to download the blank template provided by Tiled. Simply click here. We can open our CSV in the Spreadsheet tool of our choice. However, for this video, we're going to use Google Sheets. Open New, Import, Upload, Replace Spreadsheet, done. This really is as simple as it looks. Add the user's names, email addresses, the group you want them in, and the role you want them to have. Keep in mind, group names need to be spelled exactly as they appear in the tiled app. Roles should be a single word: admin, editor, or base. Once we have all of our users in, then we export our spreadsheet as a CSV file. Then upload this to the tiled app and click the Send Activation Emails box. And just like that, our users pop right into our designated groups, and they're invited to join. If we need to delete a user, that can be done easily by clicking the respective try-dot menu, then clicking Delete. While the user's analytics will still be available in the engagement section, users themselves cannot be recovered and will need to be invited again. One last point we need to go over: new user provisioning. First, let's navigate to the page we're talking about. Click your profile icon in the top right, click Account Settings, and then scroll down to New Users. In the Welcome Email section, we can customize what our welcome email says. So Journey uses this to let our users know the benefits of joining Tiled, and it gives a point of contact for any questions new users may have. Let's do a quick review. We learned about the 3 default permission sets: admin, editor, and base users, how to create groups and subgroups, how to create new users both individually and via CSV upload, what happens when we delete users, and how to customize the new user welcome email. Join us in our next video where I'll teach you about the Tiled micro app library.